The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
7 games remain for the New York Jets, and those 7 games could drastically impact this franchise's future. There's a lot to talk about. It's the Jake Asman Show. And Nick Shine joins us this morning, and I promise you this show will be more entertaining than last night's Tyson-Paul fight. Here we go. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man. Hey, shout out to Jet fans that are still showing up. I don't know what sort of dysfunctional family they grew up in, but I feel like if you parents were 2 people that should have broke up but never did, you're tailor-made to be a Jets fan because it's a toxic relationship. The level of swag that Jet fans wear, you would think that they had like 4 or 5 Super Bowls.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jet bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Reminder, post-game show will be a little delayed tomorrow after the game. I'm on ESPN New York, 8:80 a.m., immediately after the Jet game at 4 o'clock until 6:30. Then I'll go live at 6:30 on YouTube with the usual post-game show after Jets and the Colts. Click the like button if you're just tuning in. And, of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel as it helps us continue to grow. Joining us right now is the great Nick Shine, his YouTube channel, Proud NYJ Fan. Hello, Nick. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you? How are we feeling?
I'm ready to go, man. I mean, I know you'll be in the building tomorrow. You'll be bringing the good vibes. But, really, the weather's supposed to be nice. And, I mean, tell the world about your tailgate, man. I mean, you got it going on tomorrow.
Yeah, my tailgate's a group of guys that we've had together for a long time. And one of the guys fronted this guy to start a business, and he's chefs and grills, and he's coming tomorrow. We're going to do a pig roast, rodizio. It's nonstop. You've never seen food like this coming off. It's great. Small little group we got should be about like maybe 30, 35 people, like friends of friends. That's it. Tight little knit group. And it'll be fun. I wish it was the night game still, because it's much easier eating that food at 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night than it is at 9 in the morning when you're having short ribs. But there's never a bad time for short ribs and all the other foods.
I love that for you. Now, enjoy it, because as we've seen with this season, there's a good chance the tailgate might be the best part of the entire day.
Yeah. My son's like, Dad, are we going out? I'm like, we'll see. I don't even know if we're going in. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how low tickets go in the parking lot.
I love that for you as well. All right, we'll talk about the long-term stuff with this Jets team, but we'll get to the game a little bit tomorrow. Your thoughts on the matchup? How do you view the quarterback change Indianapolis made going from Flacco to Richardson? Is that helpful, or are the Jets worse off from that decision by the Colts?
It's the right move for the Colts, right? If you watched what Murray did the other day, it's going to be a lot more difficult tackling Richardson than it would be Murray, right? So I would say, if I'm the Colts offensive coordinator, I'm watching everything that the Cardinals did. I'm going to do RPO to Clemens' side of the field. I'm going to make him have to make decisions. If we go double wide 9, I would just check to Jonathan Taylor, run it up the middle, double the D tackles, and then scrape to the linebackers. And there's no way to stop that. We don't have someone like JJ who can be in a wide 9 and still get in and make a play on the run to get back and cover the B gap. So I would expect to see a lot of running tomorrow. And when they do pass, I would send everybody deep, dump it off, or send someone out to the flat to Sauce's side of the field and try to make Sauce tackle in the open field. It doesn't seem to be successful for us when that happens. The other teams seem to get the first down. They move the chains, and it's frustrating to watch. It's very, very frustrating to watch. You put trips to one side, you put the tight end on Sauce's side, and then you make him have to tackle the guy. So I want to see changes on the defense. I want to see a 5-man front every so often. I want to see guys coming up to the line. We watch it against us all the time.
Right.
There's 5, 6, 7 guys on the line, and then when the snap comes, some of them back off. Now you don't know who's coming. You cause a little bit of confusion for the offense, and we're just like, all right, we're doing Pop Warner defense, 4 guys down. No, if you don't have 4 guys getting home like we've had the last 2 years, guess what? You got to adapt. You got to evolve. You got to create a little bit of chaos on the defense. You got to create confusion. You got to create, deception. We're too vanilla.
Brutal. And Fireman Ed was on the show yesterday. We clipped his rant. We put it out there on social media. I mean, the fact that you have Javon Kinlaw and Michael Clemens playing more snaps than Reddick and Quinn Williams and Will McDonald. I mean, this defensive line rotation in the past, it made some sense because it was working when they had the depth to do it. But the state of this defensive line right now, how are you not playing your best players all the time? Like the fact that this coaching staff refuses to make any sort of adjustment up front is just another strike against them, and why I cannot wait for them to clean house after this year. Because while I do think there are some good coaches on this staff, they need to start fresh because it's just not working with what they have.
Yeah, I wish Quinnen would become like a running back. Like, when Breece Hall has a big run, he checks himself out. Let Quinnen say, all right, it's time for me. I need a breather.
Yep.
I think Quinnen is smart enough and knows what he needs to do and where his body needs to be successful. So I would give Quinnen, all right, you come out when you want to come out. Other than that, you stay on the field. And he'll do it. He'll check himself out because he plays with a high motor. So he knows when he needs to refresh. But I just can't. I don't know, man. Clemens being out there aggravates me. I would check to a run, an RPO, especially with this running back quarterback tandem, to Clemens' side every time and just be like, dude, this guy's not a smart football player. He's out of position. He bites too hard on the fake. He's over aggressive. He wants to make a play. He doesn't read and react. He guesses. And when you guess and when you're playing the RPO, you're probably going to guess wrong because they're going to read you and react when they do the exchange or the keeper. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating as a defensive coach to watch guys be out of position time and time again when I can teach 8th graders how to do it.
Coach Nick Shine, baby. Coach Nick Shine. I'd take you as one of the coaches on this team, Nick. I just want you to know that.
Oh, I would be honored. I'd be honored. And we'd be better. We would not come out slow, I'll tell you that much.
No doubt. Now, I actually, for whatever reason, have a feeling the Jets will win this game tomorrow. I would not be surprised if they win. I would not be surprised if they lose. But I got to admit to you, I was pretty confident in them winning this game. And then yesterday, I saw this, and now I'm not so sure.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Jets. Let's take down the one true Rodgers. This is our team. Go Colts!
I mean, that sound effect he made at the end there. I thought the Jets would win. Now I'm questioning everything. Your thoughts?
It's shout out to him. I am disappointed with the Jet line insult, though. Like, me and my buddies have been talking about it. Like, what's it going to be? We've had some guesses, but I thought the line could have been better. But guy won Colt Fan of the Year. He's doing videos with the mascot. My favorite was the Dolphin one when he has the mini football and he bops it with his nose before it starts.
Yep.
But flying around like a jet was pretty cool, too. Good for him.
I'm nervous about tomorrow now. I'm not sure.
I mean, if we win, is it a win? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, baby.
We know
we're
not
going on a run.
Table.
No, we're running the table 7-0.
Of course. But here's what will happen. The football gods will give us a win. So we have 2 weeks to build up this fake and phony positivity and energy in our brains. And then we'll have extra time off. And if we have a game at 1:00 on a Sunday and then we play 4:00 the next Sunday, we technically had extra time off. We suck. We absolutely suck. So having 2 weeks off, even with Seattle coming across country, it's going to be another egg getting laid. It's so disappointing that everyone in the league looks for extra rest, but we're 2-0 on Thursdays this year on short rest. Like, it doesn't make sense. Nothing with this team makes sense.
No. It does not. Now I'm still rooting for wins until they're eliminated. But yeah, I mean, if they win tomorrow, you're not gonna hear me, and I'm sure every content creator out there be like, "Yep, they're back, baby. Here comes the run." Like, show us, man. To those of you who bought in after the Houston game, you probably feel kind of foolish after you saw the Jets not just lose to the Cardinals, but the way they lost was ridiculous, man. Never in the game, 24-6 at halftime, just unreal. Now we do have some breaking news. Tom Ace in the chat says that noise that we heard at the end of the Colt fan video was his climax sound. Nick, your thoughts?
It's true. He sends me unsolicited videos all the time, and he does have a couple of those with that sound in it. Got to make sure you're opening your phone with no one else around you because you never know what Tom's going to send.
The more you learn.
Yes, that's it.
Here's my question for you, Nick. There's 7 games left. How do you view these next 7? How big of an influence do they potentially have over the direction this team goes going forward?
I mean, it all starts with Rodgers, right? Like we know we're going to have I think we're going to have a new GM. The contract's expired. Joe Douglas looked defeated, dejected. It looked like he got stepped on by Woody. It doesn't look like he wants the job. Even if the Jets want him back, I think it's time for a change there. 6 years and no playoffs. You don't deserve an extension. You don't deserve to come back. I know Bonsey's probably throwing shoes at his brother right now hearing me say this, but it's true. 6 years and you don't simp the playoffs. It's time for a regime change. Who's going to be the VP of football operations? Because that guy's got to go with all this failure that we've had. It starts at the top. Now, if you're a general manager, you want to know the Rodgers situation before accepting the job, right? I don't think we're a desirable job because of a GM and a head coach having to take on Rodgers and almost wasting a year of their rebuild, not being able to start their build immediately. Now, what we've seen this year with Rodgers, and this is coming from someone who's loved Rodgers. I've called watching Rodgers play must-see TV throughout the years. I would stop what I was doing and sit down and watch him play the quarterback position. I was fascinated with it. He can't move. He's indecisive. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. We put so much investments into the offensive line. There's times the ball doesn't come out on time. And this entire get to the line, milk the clock for 40 seconds, making adjustments. All the defense is doing is making adjustments too. And they know when he's checking, it's going to be a quick pass. When was the last time you saw play action, a rollout, and a bomb downfield like he used to do to MVS, Crosby, all the other guys, right? Or Jordy Nelson, forgive me. We don't see any of that. We can't get Garrett Wilson downfield and open. The one time we threw one, it was a 3-step drop and just a lob out there to Devontae Adams. Why would you want to come here? Let me pose this question. If you're a general manager, why would you want to come here? You got questions with ownership. You have a media market that will destroy you. You have a fan base that's impatient and irrational and rabid dogs. Why would you want to take that on? Now, I know you've thrown the name Vrabel around, right? Vrabel would be a second-time head coach. Usually when you are a second-time head coach, it's your last chance in the league, right? Why would you tie your head coaching career to the Jets with what we've been?
Here's the thing. I think it really depends how it looks over the last 7 games. Because what if Rodgers plays competently down the stretch, and then you sell a new GM on? You get a year of Rodgers if you want it. You let the new GM decide the direction of the team. And you could draft a quarterback, so you're not expected to win in year 1, but you got an opportunity to be competitive in year 1, similar to what the Giants did their first year where, the expectations were low and they surprised and made the playoffs year 1 of Dable and Shane. And then you get to actually, draft your quarterback that sits behind Rodgers. And in New York, you don't have to throw your rookie out to the wolves right away and play him. That's the only way I could see it being like a somewhat attractive job. But that's where I bring up the fact these next 7 games really influence the future here. Because what version of Aaron Rodgers do you see here down the stretch, right? He's apparently healthier now. He's not on the injury report anymore. What if he puts together a decent stretch? The Jets go 4-3 over their next 7. They finish 7-10. Is that enough for a GM to look at it and go, all right, I have a quarterback for a year? Because you look at the options in the veteran market, it's a joke. I mean, you want Sam Darnold, you want Daniel Jones, you want Jacoby Brissett, you want Andy Dalton. Like, Rodgers is still probably the best option amongst any of those guys. So then the question is, if a GM takes his job, you get Aaron for a year, but then you still get the opportunity to draft your quarterback. That might be attractive to a GM who's like, okay, I don't have to win right away, but I maybe could in year one. And then I don't have to play my rookie quarterback right away. That's the only way I'd want Rodgers back is if they're planning on drafting a quarterback behind him in the first round.
That's fair. I'll counter with this. I come in as GM, you're coming in as coach. We want to start our build immediately. Now, if we keep Rodgers for 1 year or we take the job, now that Rodgers cap hits year 2. So it's effectively slowing down our plan and our build because now we don't have the money to really kick in our plan until year 3, right?
But you're going to have to, you owe him the money regardless, though, is my thing. Like his cap hit next year is $23 million.
Yeah, but if we're coming in as a new regime, I want that dead money gone immediately so I can put my guys in place. I don't want to, in year 3 of my regime, have to deal with something from the previous regime.
Well, who's the quarterback, though? Well, so you could take, if you get rid of Rodgers after this year, right, it'd be a $49 million dead cap hit. You want to just do it in year 1 rather than, hey, $15 million next year, 35 the following year. So, you know what I mean? Like, you either spread it out over 2 years or you take it all next year. It'd be $49 million, which they could do. I mean, there's $50 million in dead cap this year. So they could do it. But it's like, okay, if that's the plan, who's the quarterback next year then?
Well, that would be up to me and you to decide as the heads of the new regime.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's a better option out there if you're talking about a veteran. If you're just going to start a rookie, fine. Well, you know, that rookie will compete with Jordan Travis, but like you're kind of giving up on next year already before it even begins.
But a new regime may want that. You know, we don't know who it's going to be. We don't know. Now, all the head coaching talk, I think we got to talk GM first, right? Because usually GMs bring in their guy that they've worked with, they've been in a building with. So as much as we're fascinated with the head coaching discussion, who's going to be the GM, I think is more important to this team because that usually go within the family, right? The guy from the Bills came down, brought Dable down with them. Schoen and Dable came down together to the Giants. Guys want a little bit of familiarity, and they want to bring in guys that
Ray Agnew, Ben Johnson, the dream team.
I got no issue with that.
Yeah.
I got no issue with that. I got a question for you.
I might have an answer for you.
All right. Who was our offensive coordinator when Rodgers was brought in?
Nathaniel Hackett.
And why?
Because he loves Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers loves him.
And Aaron Rodgers didn't want to learn a new scheme at 39 years old. Do you think Rodgers will want to learn a new scheme at 41?
Then he won't be a Jet. That's how I look at it. Like he's not having influence. And look, this is what we would do. We know that you can't trust the Jets ownership till proven otherwise. But my big thing is why I would bring Aaron back is because I think he understands he no longer is going to be able to like have the influence he had of like running the offense he wants, having influence in some of the personnel that's here. He's essentially a bridge quarterback going into next year until proven otherwise. And to me, he's the best bridge quarterback option you're going to have because it's not like there's all these other great options that are out there. You hire the GM and the coach. They get to run the offense they want, put in place the scheme they want. And if Aaron's not on board, you'll cut him, you'll trade him, whatever. He won't be here next year. But I'm at least giving Aaron the chance to come back because at $23 million for the cap hit, it's manageable, and I owe the money anyway, and I don't see a better option out there.
Yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall or in the room for these discussions, right? Because it all starts with Rodgers. The general manager is going to want to know, what am I doing? Who's going to be the quarterback? These decisions for the GM are going to be made in January. Head coach is probably going to be later in January, early February. Rodgers didn't decide until early March that he wanted to be a Jet. So he does hold the team hostage. It's not going to be a very fun offseason, in my opinion. And I know as Jets fans, we always look forward to it. And that's when we win. We win the offseason. But I think it's going to be anticlimactic for us this year because there's a lot of questions hanging over the Jets. You know, the ownership is, what are you going back to the UK? Do you fire the team president? Who's going to be the GM? Who's going to be the head coach? Is Rodgers playing? There's so many questions. Which one of the young guys do you keep, or do you trade them now after year 3 to a high bidder? There's so many questions, and not all of them can go the way that we want. So I think, as always, a tough time to be a Jet fan, man.
Huh.
And I'm as positive as they come in, and I'm saying this.
The pain. It never stops. Comment questions.
It's always more pain.
Super chats. Cut the line. We're talking with Nick Shine. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Proud NYJ fan. If you're a Jet fan, Nick's as diehard as anyone out there. Does a great job. Jetted out. He's been an Asmaniac for 4 months. He writes in, please no more Gruden talk. He's overrated. Made the Super Bowl off Tony Dungy. Built roster. And he traded all the Raider draft capital. Nick, before I ask you about Jon Gruden and your thoughts on him.
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
I had to play that. Your thoughts on Gruden, Nick?
I think it's crazy to think that Woody and Chris would bring in the guy suing the NFL. I think that's the first domino in this whole situation. He's suing the NFL, not to get in why. We all know why. You can Google why with what happened. But I think to bring Gruden into this market after that situation and those emails would be a really bad decision, knowing how this market operates.
Which I do think he would.
But it still happened, right? It's still, I know he dropped the lawsuit, give me a job. I get that. I just think New York's a really, really bad place as a fan of New York and a fan of this team and of knowing what the media, knowing what the fan base is. I think that would be a really shocking move. I would be shocked. I wouldn't be against the coach himself. The situation is what turns me off from it and everything that comes with it. But I would love Gruden as a coach to have an offensive mind out there, a guy who designs plays that can attack in the NFL. You know, this getting to the line and changing and audibling all the routes. Just call a play, have the play work, run the next play. How about break the huddle quick and attack the defense instead of doing all these changes? Because as you're taking 40 seconds, the defense is taking 40 seconds to adjust. Call a play, run a play. It's not that goddamn hard.
Yeah, that would make sense. So that will never happen.
I know, but I love the novelty and the idea of a Jon Gruden coming here. I'm with you. I want an offensive-minded coach. Yep. I want more offensive minds on that side of the ball. If the head coach is a defensive guy, it's one less offensive mind in the room. But I can't. I just don't see it happening, to be completely honest with you.
I have an outside-the-box idea for head coach. What do you think about this guy?
Excuse me.
Chuck Gorman?
Great idea. Outstanding manners. How many of us say excuse me after we rip one live on air? You haven't thought of that perspective. You play a video so you can do one. I know how you operate. I do the same thing.
Definitely.
You turn the camera off, you lean over,
so when you beat your mic, my mic's muted, like it comes up on the left, like I'm muted. What I do is if I go like this, now my mic could be muted right now. You would never know if I just lay out, like watch. You don't know my mic was muted.
That's well done. Look at that professionalism and teaching me a trade trick. I like it.
There you go. You gotta have all the plans in place. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Nick Shine. As you can tell based on the topic selection, it is bleak for the New York Jets, but there still are 7 games left. I thought it was a great line this week by Mike Greenberg on ESPN. He's like, the question on the screen is the Jets season over? The answer, unfortunately not. The fact that there's still 7 games left. Like I felt like last week, Nick, this has to be rock bottom. But then I felt that way after the Patriot game, and somehow it's gotten worse after what they did against the Cardinals. So, I really don't know what to think, because when you try and prognosticate or project how you think something's going to go with this franchise, something crazy always happens and takes it in entirely different directions. And who knows what the next 7 games are going to hold.
Yeah. Can we win? Yeah. We had Buffalo beaten.
Right.
Buffalo's our toughest game left. We had them beaten. Miami doesn't look very impressive. We are capable of winning all 7 games. Am I confident? I'm not. I don't believe it, man. And hopefully I'm wrong, because I believe they're going to win every game. And last week broke me. Not coming out and with any aggression, not coming out with any execution, coming out with a horrible game plan, getting out schemed, out executed, and just flat out embarrassed. I don't have the confidence in this regime to draw up a defensive scheme to stop the other team. right now, questioning the player's ability and desire to make a tackle, that's awful. You can't. I mean, you can't teach energy and effort. That's something you have. That's a desire you have in your heart, and you're just saying, you know what? I don't care what the scoreboard says. I'm not giving up. Reaching for guys, smacking at guys' forearms to make a tackle. What the hell is that? Talking to you, Sauce. It's I don't know. It's bad. Can they turn it around? Sure. You know what'll be the telltale sign for me that this season's done? If we can't intercept Anthony Richardson, who throws interceptions at a high rate.
He was born to throw picks.
Yes.
To this point. Yep.
Yes. And if we can't pick him off, it's like, all right, then what are we even doing here? If he goes out and completes 75% of his passes and he looks like Kyler Murray did last week,
that's a wrap.
Book the funeral plans.
Yeah, unreal.
But if we win a tiebreaker against a potential playoff team.
False
We're only
hope for
2 games out of the wild
week.
card with 7 to go. So it's not done. It's not over. It's just not believable of a run right now.
Yeah, I mean, this team has to show you, right? I mean, like, oh, they beat the Texans. Here comes the run. Then, I mean, that Cardinal performance is disgraceful. It's like this team's got to show you they could win a couple games in a row before you even think they've turned the corner. Like, I never bought into the Texan win. I'm like, great, I'll go beat Arizona, where it means nothing. And the way they lost is about as pathetic as you'll ever see it. So I'm right there with you. If you're watching live right now, click that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're presented by Underdog Fantasy. Use the Underdog app if you haven't already. Download it today. Promo code Asman will get you a deposit up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Nick, I put together an Underdog pick'em for tomorrow. I want your thoughts on this here. Anthony Richardson, longest rush. I'm going higher than 13.5 yards. Rodgers, 1.5 passing touchdowns. I'm taking the higher on that. Garrett Wilson, 67.5 receiving yards. We're going higher on that. And I think the Colts are going to try and run the ball against this Jet defense. Jonathan Taylor, at least 18.5 rushing attempts. We're going higher on that one. Your thoughts on this? This is like $25 to win like $175 over at Underdog. Folks, if you haven't used Underdog yet, you're missing out. Promo code Asman again. But Nick, your thoughts on my picks here?
The one in question that stands out to me is the Rodgers touchdowns, right? Other than that, I think the other 3 are very good. But what offense are we going to see? We couldn't throw any touchdowns or score any touchdowns last week. So that's why it's gambling, right? You're pressing it. All right, we sucked last week. Maybe make some changes and this week come out firing. I hope you hit. I love the Richardson. He's going to run probably for 60 yards minimum. Jonathan Taylor, you're going to see him all day. And I think Garrett will have a good day too. So the one that I would be most worried about is the touchdown passes, because that means we've scored 2 touchdowns in a game, which would kind of be surprising, right?
I think the offense will play better tomorrow. They're streaky.
Yeah.
I think they've been better at home this year than on the road. When you look at a lot of these games, I mean, Rodgers does have 15 touchdowns this year, so he's had a bunch of games where he has thrown at least 2 in a game. So we'll see. I mean,
yeah, I hope you win.
I do as well. All right, we'll open up the Gusbuster hotline right now. If you want in on the conversation, we're talking with Nick Shine. Let me get to a couple super chats here. The great King of Dreams in the house. He says, Jake, my G. Salute. Nick, that beard is epic, my G. Great beard, Nick. I agree with you. King of Dreams.
Thank you. And when you got the salt and pepper beard, you got to wear the salt and pepper shirt to match it. You got to blend everything together.
Amen. The hamburger in the house. He says, Gruden, Rex, and McCarthy, one will have the job. If this franchise hires Mike McCarthy, kill me.
I'll be honest with you. That's how I feel about Rex. And I love Rex. But we fired Rex. Why? Couldn't build an offense, only cared about one side of the ball, never developed a quarterback. Why did we fire Robert Saleh? Never built an offense, couldn't develop a quarterback, only cared about one side of the ball. Why would we go back to what we just fired?
Rex is a better coach than Saleh, though. Rex built a culture. Rex got the most out of the talent that was on the team.
Agreed. But why would we go back to what didn't work originally, right? We know why we fired Rex. I know we did 09 and 10. But after that, the reason
he did Rex dirty by getting rid of Tannenbaum and then putting in Izek there, who basically tried to strip down the roster, and Rex still won 8 games in 2013 before it fell apart in 14.
Agreed.
It's a while ago, though. My argument against Rex is he hasn't coached in the NFL since 2016, hasn't coached the Jets since 2014. Like, I would need to know who his staff is. I would need to know what his plan is at quarterback post Rodgers. I'm assuming Rex would want Rodgers for a year. He wanted Favre for a year when he first got the Jet job. So, like, what's the plan post Rodgers?
Yeah, I know Rex wants the job, but I'm trying to find the logic and the rationale in it. Like, that means we have another defensive head coach, something that I don't want.
Right.
It means you're bringing in a guy who does rub people the wrong way. Like, what are you going to bring Schottenheimer back and run it back with Rex and Schottenheimer?
Shotty.
I mean, who would want to come here under Rex, knowing the type of personality Rex is? You know, it's guys who want to. You're going to take a chance on another first-time offensive coordinator and give a guy a job that might not be ready for it. We've been there. We've done that. You know, I want a proven offensive mind. I want a guy like a Ben Johnson who can draw up plays to succeed in this day and era in the NFL and bring those guys in and just get Garrett Wilson open downfield. How many times do you see Lions receivers open downfield? You know, that's something I dream of. But I don't – I love the idea and the notion of Rex Ryan, and I love that he loves us because we aren't lovable to many people. But I don't know if logically it makes sense.
If you're going to bring in Rex, the only way you could bring him in, he's got to get rid of the lap band, and we need Fat Rex.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
You know what I mean? Like, we can't do skinny Rex. It won't work. You got skinny in 13 and 14. It was all falling apart. I need Fat Rex if we're going to do this.
Yeah. And does he have to get a new tattoo of a new quarterback? He's got the
Aaron
tattoo
Rodgers
with the Sanchez jersey on.
That's right. Fat Rex. We need it, folks.
Fat Rex. I like it.
Jay Quest says if Rex really loves the Jets, he'd take a DC job. I just don't think Rex's ego would allow him to take a defensive coordinator job when you can make the case he's the second most successful head coach in the history of the Jet franchise.
And if you're a head coach, do you want to bring in somebody who's got a bigger personality and more beloved as you underneath you on your staff?
Right. The first 3-game losing streak, this fan base is going to say fire whoever the head coach is.
Rex.
Promote Rex.
Yeah. You know, Rex will undermine a head coach, you know, if he believes he should have that job. And since he's, you know, calling for it and saying that he wants it, we know he'll rock the boat.
I love Rex. And I'm not as anti it as some of the fan base are. I just have a lot of questions about who the GM is under him. Because here's the other thing with Rex, too. Once Rex started having influence over the decisions in the draft room and personnel, the roster got objectively worse. Rex came in, and he had a really good roster. He supplemented that roster with some of his guys, the Bart Scotts, the Jim Leonards of the world. And then once it became time for those guys to move on and subsidize the roster with guys they had to draft and develop internally, that's when you had the Kyle Wilson pick. That's when you started to have some of these free agent signings or other draft picks like Quentin Coples that never worked. And that's when it all fell apart. When you decided to move on from Jericho Cottrey and replace him with Derek Mason, you replaced Braylon Edwards with Plaxico Burress. Like, that's when it became a major, major issue.
Yeah. And Tannenbaum didn't value middle round draft picks. He traded them for veterans. So we didn't have that pipeline of young talent coming in like a Sherwood guy who develops over 3-4 years because we didn't have middle round picks.
Right.
We were top the Sanchez draft. We had Sanchez. We traded up from 17 to 5. We had Sean Green, and then we had Matt Slauson in the 6th round. We only had 3 guys in a draft because we were trading everything away. So eventually, over the next couple of years, you had no depth. You had no pipeline. You had no young talent growing into the league or your system. So it was poor management all around. Again, we went for it all. We missed, and we've been suffering ever since.
At least when they went for it that time, they got to the championship game twice. Yeah, it must be nice. Chef Jeff Fan says, huge fan of Jake. I hope you see my comments every day. Chef, I see them all right. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who supports the show. I'm going to gift a membership here in a moment. So if you want a membership, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you like this video and you have a chance to get one. Boomtown writes in, Jake, a question for your lovely guest. Is that a washing machine behind his shoulder?
Yeah, Gator made the background for me. And on my show, there's times I do night shows, 9, 10 o'clock. So there's times I'm home and I do laundry down here in the basement. And sometimes I'll play a video, go throw it in the dryer during the show. Gator became obsessed with that. So when he made the background, he snuck a washing machine in there.
I love that for you.
He put himself in the picture over here, me, you, and him together at the game.
Oh, I did see that.
Also snuck in the washing machine. Yeah, and Leanie's over here. Leanie yelled at me last night because I picked the other background that didn't have her. And at like 2 o'clock in the morning in the Discord for my channel, she's yelling at me that she was pissed. Not only was the streaming not working for her and her friends to watch the fight, she goes, then I go to watch Nick's show, and he took the picture down of me. I'm like, I'm sorry, Leanie. I'm sorry.
Tremendous. We love Leanie. Addison, who's been an Asmaniac for 8 months, he writes in, my flight has been booked, landing the morning of the 29th. Can't wait to meet my East Coast Asmaniac / Shiner fam. First ever trip to New York for my B-Day. Man, if the Jets were going to win a game, please win that December 1st game against the Seahawks for our guy Addison coming out from L.A. to watch this Jets team.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going to pick him up from the airport, and we're going to go to Harold's right away for breakfast.
Great choice. Great choice. You won't need lunch or dinner if you're taking him to Harold's.
No. Good food there. But,
Steve has been a big fan of
Harold's. The rest
Harold's.
of the weekend. I know there's a trip planned to go pick up Bobby at some point with Nate and Addison and maybe Clancy. I don't know how much room we got in the car, but it'll be an interesting time for sure.
Love that. All right, I'm going to get the membership here in a moment. Appreciate everyone supporting the show here on a Saturday. We're talking with Nick Shine. We'll get to your calls coming up. I'm going to read this comment from Brandon here. Jets will probably win a few more games just so they can't draft the top 2 quarterbacks in the class. I got news for you people. The Jets are going to win a few more games. Their schedule is easy. And if you look at where they are right now, they're not picking at the top of the draft. There's a lot of bad teams. Like, as bad as the Jets are, look how many worse teams there are in the NFL this year. Like, the Jets aren't even close to the top of the draft right now. Jacksonville and the Giants are both 2-8. Tennessee, Cleveland, Vegas, they're all 2-7. The Jets are 3-7 with New England, New Orleans, Carolina. You have a couple 3-6 teams like Dallas and Miami. Like, the idea that the New York Jets are going to be picking in the top 3, top 5 even. I don't see it, Nick. They're going to win some games here. One, they always do it. And two, they're not as bad. As bad as they are, like, given the expectation level, they're not as bad as some of the other quote-unquote awful teams in the league.
Yeah, and for those of you looking for a quarterback, there's a lot of teams ahead of us that might need one. So the Raiders, the Giants, I don't know if the Panthers stay with Young. There's some teams ahead of us that might need a quarterback. So if we win another couple games and we're picking anywhere from that 8 to 14 range, you're going to have to move up to get a guy. I don't want to sit back and take a quarterback and end up with a Mac Jones type in the middle, in the teens. I don't want to take the 4th quarterback in a class. We've taken the 2nd quarterback in a class twice and then have it not work out. So I don't want to sit back and wait, but those teams who need quarterbacks might not want to move out. So I don't know if we're going to be bad enough to get into the top 5, considering some of the other teams in the league right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, as
Cleveland's going to need one.
Nick Shine, you dog, you gifted a membership before I did.
Hey, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play Nick Shine's favorite song in honor of his nice gesture.
This is our cult. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our cult. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Jets. Let's take down the one true Rodgers. This is our team. Go Colts!
Wow.
It's worth
That's
it.
something. Now, did you happen to see which listener got your membership?
I didn't. No.
You can't make it up, folks. Sometimes it's just meant to be. If you hear your name called, courtesy of Nick Shine, you're an Asmaniac channel member. Burnt a ball sack.
These jokes write themselves, man. The YouTube algorithm,
They know.
Even though it burned Bobby, sometimes it works out to be pretty good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Burnt Ball Sack is the recipient
Welcome.
of the membership. Congratulations. You're an Asmaniac. I gifted a membership. And let's find out who that went to.
You better have a better name than that. Let's see who drew the better name.
Brandon the H. I would say I think you won.
All right, Brandon. Welcome to both of you guys.
But congrats to Brandon. All right, let's start mixing in some calls here. We'll have some fun as we always do as we commiserate through this Jet season. Gusbuster Hotline is open. And ladies and gentlemen, do we have quite the treat on the line right now? We say good morning to the Lane train.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good.
Hey, Lane. Lane, you're on mute.
He's farting.
And he's gone.
He paid attention to our trick before. You got to mute yourself, right?
Lane's internet has never worked on my show for about a month now. And I'm very concerned because if we don't got Lane in the offseason, how are we going to discover who this year's Knoble is?
Inquiring minds need to know.
It's tough. Ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
I felt bad. He was in my chat one night, and I posted the link in the Discord for only like the paid members of the channel to call in instead of putting it public. One of the extra perks that I do. And Lane must have typed 100 times on how do I call in? Can I get the link? Can I get Bobby's number? And I'm like, here's my email. Email me. I'll shoot you the link. But it didn't work out. I felt bad. I felt bad for him. I hope he gets his internet fixed.
Did he email you, Nick?
He never did. Like we put it in like 3 times and nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lane is back with us right now. Lane, do you hear us?
Yes, I do now. Now I do hear you.
Hey, Lane, how are you?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, hi, Jake. Oh, hi, Nick.
No, this is criminal. They like tease us. Lane, please call in from a computer this time instead of your phone. See if that makes a difference.
Hi. Sorry, everybody. See you next call when we talk about sports again.
The internet was the train. The internet just derailed that call. It's a shame.
I really did, man. All right. Well, I do have some good news. We can't get Lane potentially, but before we get to more of your calls, let's shout out the great Rick Kent. Hit the Rick Kent emoji. Rick coming through for the people with a 5-spot of channel memberships.
Show me the money. Show me the money! Money.
There you go.
All right. If you hear your name called, courtesy of Rick Kent, you are a channel member. Jets. Joseph Webb, We Bama Souls, Tyler Muldoon, and ED all receiving a channel membership. Thank you to Rick again for his support. Also want to shout out Chris J. He gifted one yesterday. He's gifting one today. Thank you, Chris. Your membership went to Joey Hauser. So, Joey, congrats to you. Thank you to Chris again for the membership. Super chat here from Ace of Spade. No Gruden draft hits history in West Coast offense. Red flags. Look, Gruden wouldn't be the GM. So that'd be my big thing because he when he went to the Raiders, their draft picks were brutal. But I think Gruden's a culture changer, and I think Gruden is an offensive guy. That's what you want. I just trust him to hire a pretty good staff as well. So there's some positives there. But whether it's Rex or it's Gruden, these guys are coaches, not general managers. That, to me, is the difference. I'm not letting those guys have say in personnel. It's why they got to hire, in my opinion, the GM first and then hire the head coach.
I'm trying to think right now. Has Gruden ever developed a young quarterback? He had Brad Johnson down in Tampa. He had Rich Gannon in Oakland.
Derek Carr was at his best when Gruden was the coach.
Yeah. I mean, he was.
Rich Gannon was an MVP with Gruden as the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, he was in his 30s when Gruden got him. But I was just trying to think: did Gruden ever draft and develop a guy?
No,
that's probably going to be what we're going to need.
Was he ever in position to do it? I'm trying to think. Did they ever draft anyone in Tampa, a young guy that sat or played? I'm trying to think back to those teams. Because they won with Brad Johnson. Who was after Brad Johnson? Jeff Garcia. Wasn't Jeff Garcia the quarterback there for a little bit?
He was there. They drafted one of the McCowns, right? Was it Josh? They had like a Cleveland Browns type of quarterback turnover for many years there after Gruden left.
Let's see here. This one is from Mickey. Did you see Sauce's interview about tackling? Reminded me about the Corley interview about dropping the ball before the end zone. Our team's culture is horrible.
I didn't. I didn't. Are you aware of what was said?
I saw the quotes, but the guy who tweeted it, aggregated it, is that Dove Kleeman guy who just tries to make everything look hot takey and look bad. I think Sauce was basically saying we shouldn't need to be reminded how to tackle. It's on us to do it. But the way it was spun was like we know how to tackle. We don't need a tackling clinic, and I don't think that's what Sauce was saying at all. To be fair to Sauce. Because I didn't see anyone on the Jets beat make a big deal of it. The only people I saw make a big deal of it were the aggregators who were looking for rage bait interaction on X.
Click accounts.
Yep. I will say this, though. I did hate how Corley handled the debacle of dropping the ball. So there's something to that, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, he seemed a little immature. But why I forget who made the point. One of the callers made the point. It might have been Gary. Shocking that it was a good point, I know. But I think it may have been Gary. He said, why would you even drop that ball? That's your first touchdown. Why wouldn't you hold on to that ball and keep that ball? Why would you even drop it?
Yeah, dude, I said that to you and Gator and everyone around us in our section at the game. I was like, why would you even drop it, man? It's your first touchdown. What are you doing? Man.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
Life as a Jet fan.
But hey, they love football. They love football. That's what we got told with everyone we were going to draft. They love football.
They love it.
They love football, but they don't love football enough to know that you get into the end zone before celebrating.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline right now. Let's say hello to Matthias, who's next. Hey, Matthias.
Hey, what's going on, Jake? What's going on, Nick?
Hey,
Matthias.
So, Jake, I know I got cut off just because of my internet. My internet was pretty bad. I apologize about that. But we were talking about like potential candidates, and I was just mentioning, like a Joe Brady, a Todd Monken. I agree with Nick. With Rex, like I said before, we've been there with Rex, especially 09, 010. I don't want to see a rehash when it comes to that. I think we know what we had with Rex. I appreciate everything he's done, but I just want. I want to find finally the guy that can lead this team to the playoffs, let alone a championship. I mean, I'm just tired of just searching and searching. We find a candidate, and we're the experiment. He's the experiment. He comes to us and it just blows up in our faces. I'm just done with it, Jake. I just want to find that guy. Give Joe Brady, give Rabel. Whatever they want. Hell, I'll even take Dabble and, Spagnola. Even as a defensive coordinator, even though I'm sick of defensive coordinators becoming head coaches, what do you guys think of Spagnola? Steve Spagnola, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I like Spags. No one's talked about Spags. Now, obviously, if you look at his record, it was a while ago, but he was brutal with the Rams, but the team stunk, right? They were awful. So how much of that do you put on him? I'm sure he's learned a ton in the 15 years since he's been a head coach. He's been around the best organization in the NFL. The last 10 years almost. He won a championship in New York. He's been an interim coach in New York. He can handle this market. I'd give him an interview. I would. I think Spags has earned an opportunity again for someone. So I don't hate the idea. For me, though, Matthias, to your point, and I think, Nick, you and I agree on this, we want someone who's done it before. We want that experience. We want someone who's not going to be learning on the job, someone who's in over their head. It's why Vrabel's my number one choice if you can get him, because he has a track record of winning. He won with not the greatest of talent, especially at the quarterback spot. And for those saying he's a defensive guy, well, this is a guy that's hired 2 offensive coordinators and then went on to be head coaches. So he has an eye for identifying competent offensive coaching. So Vrabel to me is my number one by a mile, assuming they couldn't get the top offensive-minded guy in Ben Johnson.
Nick, what do you think on Brian Daboll? What are your thoughts on him as the defensive coordinator for Minnesota? He was the head coach for Miami. He seems like a no-nonsense guy that comes into the building. I feel like that would
Brian Flores?
I mean, Flores. Sorry, not Daboll. Flores for Minnesota. Sorry.
It's the defensive side that is turning me off. I want more offensive minds in the building. We haven't shown the ability to have an offense grow, develop anybody. So if you're bringing in a defensive head coach, you're taking one less offensive mind out of the room. And I'm right now all about the offense, because you can bring in a good defensive coordinator. You can create pressure if you blitz. You can stop playing the zone and play man. You can do things on the defense to mask some of your deficiencies. I need to develop an offense, and I want another offensive mind. I want an offensive-minded head coach, an offensive coordinator, quarterback coach who can all get in the room together, devise a plan, attack, and score from anywhere on the field. We have all these explosive guys, and we have no explosive plays. So I'm all offensive-minded going forward. And the Johnsons, to their credit, usually flip-flop. You know, they went from Rex to, with the personality to Bowles, calm demeanor. They went from defensive coach to offensive coach with Gase. Now back to a defensive coach. So I think we need an offensive coach. We haven't done very well the last 20 years with all the defensive coaches, minus the 2 years with Rex. So I think the Johnsons will flip it this time to try something new.
And that might end up with Matt Nagy, though, if you believe Brian Costello's prediction there, which would concern me. I don't love Nagy as a candidate. Oh, he's got experience and he's coached great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. Oh, you mean like Adam Gase coaching Peyton Manning? No, thank you.
Hey, he took Trubisky to the playoffs twice.
He did. He's not. He probably has a better resume than Gase did when Gase got the Jet job. But I don't know. It reminds me too much of Gase to make the Nagy hire.
Yeah, that would be the Jets' luck. We end up with Nagy and Trubisky, and we try to run back what the Bears failed with. That would be a Jet move, right?
Yeah, that'd be so Jets. So Jets.
I have 2 more points, Jake. I'm sorry. I just want to just get through. First of all, no Nagy. Would not want to even touch him with a 10-foot pole. Like, please stay away from this.
What about a 20-foot pole? Where do you draw the line of delineation?
Exactly.
What about the pole that ended Bobby's channel?
Now that was a pole.
But I mean, I think a lot of people, what we're not talking about is the culture that, Saleh brought in, especially with the buddy with the no accountability. We still need to get rid of that. I feel like that is just covered in the locker room, the franchise, the culture now, just with, no worries. You mess up on a tackle. Don't worry about it. We're not going to correct it. We're not going to fix it. There's just a lot of, just no accountability within this. And I feel like the next guy who comes in, especially the new GM, is going to have to instill in getting rid of that culture, because as much as we want to say, Saleh was a huge issue, but when it comes to Ulbrich, when he came in to be the head coach, that culture and toxicity is still in the locker room. So no matter what, it's just going to be still instilled with the players to just not hold themselves to a higher standard. And that's why we're seeing so many mistakes, so many things not being corrected and not being fixed within this team, defense, offensively. I feel like, Jake, to your point, I remember you saying a while back, if we have the right head coach, we had the right people in place in this franchise, this team is way too talented to be the record that they are in right now. I still hold that very strongly. If we had better coaching, we would be, I do not think we would be 3-7 right now. No. I really don't think that at all. And also, I don't know if you were hearing what O'Leary was saying about his thoughts about Gruden, how he was saying to the same argument similar to Rex when it comes to the record and not playing football in a little bit. He was saying how Gruden he's afraid of. Yeah, he's a very good culture guy, but based on his record and how long he's been out of football, can we trust Jon Gruden to really bring this team and be a little and to win some more games and to know what he's doing scheme-wise? I think, to your point, Jake, culture-wise, Gruden will be great. But do we think as a coach he can be able to make this team win football games, come up with better schemes, being adept and knowing what is going on in today's game, in today's NFL when it comes to plays and schemes? That remains to be seen. But Nick and Jake, you have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys.
Yes, appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, the thing with Gruden is he's still around the game, which I love. Right? Yeah. He's still doing the. He's a
football junkie, man.
Yeah,
he's not. He's sitting in his house drawing up plays on a Tuesday morning, having coffee. That's just, he lives and breathes design of offense. So he sees a play, he jots one down. I don't think he's a guy who lets the game pass him by or gets out of that coaching mentality. I think he's drawing up plays and sending them to friends. Here, I thought of this today, put this in. He just seems like that in love with it.
Yeah. Portnoy told an interesting story on his podcast about when he was trying to hire Gruden to Barstool. They were driving around Chicago, and Gruden was like, man, this is a cool town. There are good restaurants in here. And Portnoy was shocked that this guy who's been to every NFL city, has been around, didn't know anything because he was just all football. He's the only thing I know how to do is watch film and coach. That's what Gruden was saying. So it's This guy still loves ball. I wouldn't be that concerned about it. It's just, would you be able to hire him given the lawsuit, the email scandal? How do the Johnsons view that? How does Goodell view that? You know, there's a lot of questions there. But I can tell you for a fact there's a clause in his new Barstool deal that if he gets an NFL job or any coaching job, he could leave the second he gets it if he wants to.
Good for him, to protect himself in case this does get settled. I just don't see the Johnsons. Like, the NFL ownership's a fraternity. You're basically suing the owners of the NFL when you're suing the NFL. So I don't see the Johnsons saying, hey, we're going to take this guy on while that's going. And I don't think that's going to end by January or early February.
Flores is suing the league too and suing several teams, and he's coaching right now. So it can be done. It just depends on if the Jets want to go down that path.
Yeah, I don't know. The Johnsons seem too PR conscious. They seem like they got the glass up to the door of the social media room. Like, what are they saying now? Well, what are they saying now? So I can't see them doing it. That's my take on it.
Thinking is overrated.
I mean, wise words from our owner.
It's horrible.
What a season. What a season. Jets football, baby. You can't believe it. Ace of Spades says Pete Carroll would be a good consultant for Woody. I mean, Pete Carroll should get an interview to be the head coach, try and turn their culture around. It wouldn't be a long-term fix, but maybe you'd hire a good staff and you'd have your successor under him. I don't know. Pete Carroll, you could do a lot worse than Pete Carroll. The guy every year wins 9 or more games in his career, basically, if you look at his resume.
I just think he's done coaching, and he's part of the Seattle front office, right? Like,
he's like a consultant for them, but he didn't want that job. He was basically forced out. They forced him out.
I'd be shocked. He's, like you said, I think you said the other day, he's a West Coast guy. He's been out there for a long time. I can't see him taking on a new job. What's he, 73, 74 now? I wouldn't go that route.
King and Dream says, Mike Tomlin, I'd sell my soul for him. Yes. I'd trade an entire draft for Mike Tomlin.
You want culture? You want a good head coach? You want a good leader? I felt Robert Saleh tried to be Mike Tomlin, but I don't want a coach who wants to be friends with the players. I want a coach who demands respect, and the players are afraid to upset the coach because they don't want to fail him. I feel that Saleh didn't have that. He was liked, but not completely respected and feared. And there's a fine line of managing all of those, right? Like, you got to know how to deal with people. You got to know how to not cross that line, becoming too friendly with them, because then you're afraid to rip them a new one. But I think Tomlin has found the perfect balance of love, respect, fear, and coaching. And it's one of one, really.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good.
Lane, do you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Well, let's enjoy the 5 seconds of Lane while we have it. Lane?
How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he has a chance to do all the way? Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes.
So how do you feel about... Yes, I do, Nick Sign. So how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers?
Nick, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers?
I'm concerned about his lack of mobility and agility right now, and I feel that he's holding the ball a little bit too long in the process. How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers, Lane?
No. It's just not meant to be.
I asked the hard-hitting questions. I'm sorry we didn't get the answer.
It's just not meant to be. More of your calls right now. A lot of people want in on the conversation. Nick, if you got to go at any point, you just let me know, man. Appreciate you hanging out.
I'm good.
Here on a Saturday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to this guy.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course.
Hey, I gotta go. I gotta go now.
Oh, okay. Bob, let's see you later. Go do some laundry. Go do some laundry. Go do your delicate panties. Hi, Jake. How you doing?
Hey,
oh,
Bob.
so you went to a sports bar yesterday. Okay. All right.
That's not where I was the whole time, but that's where I was for the fight.
I hope you had a great time last night.
Oh, yeah.
It's good, yeah. So the Jets, we got to pray that they win tomorrow. We got to get on hands and bend the knees for that. So guess what? The Addison's all ready to come see me, and I get to see him.
Did you get any sleep, Bob? Why are you so low energy?
I'm positive. I'm great. Why, man? You're sometimes low energy too. What you want me to do that?
Yeah, bring the passion.
That's what we want. Air guitar. Air guitar.
What about the? Oh yeah. No, he doesn't like that stuff. Or he puts. This is a family channel. Can't do that.
Air guitar is not a family thing to do. Guitar.
Something else he has me to do. No, you have. He wants me to do these too.
I'll wave to you. Hi, Bob.
Hey.
No, not waving. No, that's touching something.
Whoa. Touching what?
Oh, shut up. No, that's what I told you. No. No, Nick, don't start trouble.
Sorry, give me the Bobby dance.
Yeah, that's me, the clown.
I got an idea.
What?
You take the Colts guy song and play it over Bobby's video.
I don't like that guy.
High energy to it.
He don't give up his day job. I tell you that much. First of all, he can't sing that good. Better not.
Like Bobby the critic. I love it.
Well, I don't sing that good either, but I try my best. But he can't sing either. So we're in the same boat together.
Bobby say, this is our team. This is our Jets. We bleed green.
Yeah, I will sing that another time.
Another time? The game's tomorrow. This is it.
Well, like I want the stuff done on sometimes that you don't always get what you want, Jake. Okay, guys, have a great evening, day. I'll see you after the show, Nick, right? Coming on my show.
Maybe you should take a nap today, Bobby.
No, I'm not taking a nap. I don't need a nap.
You just said good evening. It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, I meant have a good evening, Jake.
Did you sleep last night? How much did you sleep?
Oh, like 9 hours. I feel great. I'm not even coughing, see? No coughing.
Get that blood pumping. Get up a little bit. Get a little exercise in. Walk a little bit.
Yeah, I already had my breakfast. I told you scrambled eggs.
There's some scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Nice.
And some bacon.
You shut the stove off?
Yes, of course it did.
It's important.
We'll talk to you guys on my show, right, Nick? You coming to my show?
I'll come for a little bit. I got to go out in the afternoon, but
you begged me to have. I was going to go on after the.
There we go. That's the Bobby we need. Yell at Nick, and he's back to life.
No, you begged me to come on the first. I have 2 shows. Got one before Jake's show, and then one before.
That's how I talk.
Last night you did. Yes, you did.
How do I talk? Do it again.
Well, I just don't. I'll do a show after the Notre Dame game. I don't have to do 2.
Okay. I was just trying to get your watch time up because I'm trying to help you get your channel back. And
I know that.
Again. That's all.
If we didn't have Mr.
Go on tonight and do a
Schlong,
20-hour stream.
If we didn't have Mr. Schlong show his pick, I would have been fine.
Oh, you know I like the Yankees and the Jets. Can't believe Jake and Rodgers met. I'm more than just a hat on Bobby.
Now that's a Bobby call. All the emotions there, Nick.
It's not a Bobby call till I get yelled at.
Or Bobby brings up someone's schlong.
They go hand in hand. Definitely need 2 hands for what we saw.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep rolling with the heavy hitters on the line.
The only way we can keep Joey D is winning out an impossible feat. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody, man. This team is dog shit.
I like the new way. Look at my guys.
What's up, buddy?
These are my guys right here. Nick Shine and Jake are my 2 best buddies.
Mr. Bonsey, everybody. One of the greats.
This is great. What's up, fellas?
How are you, pal?
Not a better looking Jets panel. Just add Gator to this, and it's like woof, woof. Jake dropping hammers. This is amazing. I just want to say one thing about Gruden. From an X's and O's standpoint, I absolutely love Gruden, but we cannot give this man the keys to the franchise. He absolutely destroyed the Raiders. He traded Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper for he got 4 first-round picks. He drafted, I don't even remember, Brian Edwards and Jonathan Abram. I know he got
Colton
Jacobs.
Miller. Wasn't Colton Miller the tackle from UCLA one of them?
I don't think that was in the first round that year. That year, I think it was Josh Jacobs and the cornerback Arnett, right? Yep. And then he's done even more. He gave us a 7th round pick for
Bonesy.
Oh,
Bonesy.
Sorry, Bobby called, and I answered it by accident. Bobby's calling my cell as I'm on,
Bobby, stop trying to ruin this show.
He traded for Antonio Brown. He gave up whatever picks it was and brought in. That was an absolute disaster. Then he traded for Martavius Bryant and did the same thing. And he trades us for Hackenberg. You cannot let Gruden do any type of, anything with the draft or the rosters or trades. He's a Jeremy, if you give him the keys to the franchise,
Is Bobby trying to call you again just now?
He did try to call me and then he hung up. Bobby, I love you, buddy. Every time I call into Jake's show, right, Bobby gets on his show and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Bonsey, I saw you called in Jake's show. You gonna call on my show? You better."
Oh. Here, you want to have a conversation with Bob? Oh, you called in to talk to Nick and Jake. That was nice.
That's good. That's
exactly
good.
what I'll say.
I fucking love Bobby. Well, like you were saying earlier, Nick, Oh, wait, Joe Bonsey.
Yes.
Yo, Joe Bonsey. Yeah, what are you doing, Joe? Oh, he's running. He's working. He's hardly working. He's working hard.
Someone's got to sell the shoes.
I was just, dude, that whole time I was with a foreigner. He bought 3 pair in a belt. His wife was beautiful. It was a fun time. It was cool.
Nice.
I got to
good morning.
Jake, we got to set up. Yeah. It's been waking up with you two guys off the train. Now we got already made a sale. All will get better is the Jets win and some bullshit fake excitement for 2 weeks. Man, I can't wait.
Dude, the Jets win tomorrow. Neil's already preparing the plans for the parade. The Super Bowl run begins.
Speaking of Neil, I worked and at the school. It's tough for me to listen during the week. Did he ever pay the memberships?
To this point, Neil has not paid the 50 memberships.
Wow. Any reason? Is he trying to say there wasn't a bet?
I don't know. I mean, the video evidence is here.
If the Jets win by more than a touchdown, I have to give 20 memberships. If the Jets lose by more than 20 by a touchdown, you have to give the memberships.
Oh, that's a deal. I'll take my 20 against your 10. I'll give 20 memberships if we lose by a touchdown or more. Because if we do, Jake will really need the money badly. I said, if we lose by more than a touchdown, if we win by more, you're giving 10 memberships. If they lose,
I'm giving 20. I said I'll give 20.
Sorry.
I'm good.
Fine. If they lose by more than a touchdown, I'll give 50 memberships because Jake's going to need the money.
Wow, Neil coming through.
His viewership is going to go in the toilet 2 weeks after the first loss we have. So we don't want this to end.
I mean, that's got him.
It's on the record. But I'm not forcing you to do anything.
I'll buy a couple cigars off of him to help him out to pay the debt. I'll help him out.
What's funny is he was only on the hook for 20 memberships originally, and then he upped it to 50 for no reason.
He was that confident. He was that confident.
I mean, you got it.
Nick, are you going into the game?
I'm going to see. I'm going to see. The tickets are cheap. We'll see how the tailgate goes and where tickets are. Jay Graves is coming up with us, so I think we're going to try to get in. But I am a bargain shopper this time of year with the holidays and everything coming up, so I'm going to wait till the tickets come down as low as possible. Or if anybody has any tickets they're not using, feel free to send them over. I'll send you some money.
The Jets win, the tickets will probably be more expensive for the Addison game. If they lose, it'll probably be cheaper. And you guys, I know, are waiting until that morning. So I wonder, what is more important, your guys' pockets or a measly win on this Sunday? That's the big question.
I don't think the Seattle game will draw a big visiting crowd. I think there'll be plenty of seats available. And then the closer you get to game time, they come down, they drop.
Yep. Yeah. I'm already I'm starting to get closer to just checking out, but I have to watch every game. I'm not that type of fan that can't watch every play no matter what the score is. And I can't remember the last time I've actually turned off a game or I sit there in the misery and soak and just wait for Jake to start.
We only get 17 of them, Bones. So win or lose, if you're a diehard, you're watching all of them.
I hope you sell 17 pairs of shoes today.
Wow, that would be amazing. But at least no one's in here now, so I get to chill with my two homies. This is my favorite right here, and I love you guys.
Bonesy.
Do you have to take your lunch hour following this?
Joe
what's up, buddy?
He can't hear you. He doesn't know. He didn't know he was on camera. Just say what's up, man. This is the All-Star
What's up,
lineup.
man? I was just about to say Nick Shine gives me a boner. Sorry, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bonesy.
You're not alone, Joe. You're not alone.
Tremendous. I got a 5 spot here from the great Lee Van. Good to hear from Lee Van. Lee,
nice.
Shout out to you, my man. 5 spots from Lee. Let's go, baby. What we like to say on the show is some free stuff.
Free stuff.
If you hear your name called, thanks to Lee Van, you're an official Asmaniac. Johns, Fraghart, Watchman, MJ, and Mark Levine, all receiving channel memberships. Welcome. Nick, you got time for a couple more calls here?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to JJ. Hello, JJ.
What's going on, my friends? How are you guys today?
What's up, buddy?
JJ, are we winning tomorrow? Are you still optimistic?
Yeah, I told you we're going to win out. We're going to make the playoffs. And I'm not negative this season because you guys always kill me for being negative. So I'll be positive even when you guys are negative. But with that being said, we got to stop this Jon Gruden stuff because it's driving me crazy. The guy is 117 and 112. So he's only, what is that, 5 games above 500 in his career? The last time we seen him as a coach, he was terrible with the Raiders. And actually, when he got fired, the Raiders turned the season around and started to, they were, I think, 3-6 when he got fired.
No. They were 3-2. They were 3-2 when he got fired.
I felt like it was like 3-6. I got to go back. But whatever the case may be, they turned it around. They made it to the playoffs. That was his, 4th year there. He wasn't doing a good job. And then, as you guys have mentioned, his draft picks were terrible. He got rid of his best players in their prime. Amari Cooper goes to Dallas and goes crazy. He gets rid of Khalil Mack. They stayed the heck away from Jon Gruden. And the funny thing is, Jake, you probably won't remember this, but when Robert Saleh first got fired, I said we should bring Jon Gruden on as an offensive assistant. I don't want him to be the head coach, but I thought he could have, been a senior advisor to the offense and you guys were like, no, Jon Gruden, no, he's suing the NFL. I don't know where this turned to now. We didn't want him as an offensive assistant on the staff, but we would be willing to hire him as the head coach. I
wanted him. I just didn't think it'd be possible with the lawsuit, but we're seeing Brian Flores continue to coach and he has a lawsuit going. So that kind of changed my perception. Plus all the rumblings are he wants back in. And he's kind of revamped his image with his YouTube channel, now doing the stuff with Barstool. I think he's been gone long enough where I feel like there's less of an outrage if he were to come back. Like, he's almost kind of paid his dues being away from the league. Like, I think he deserves a second chance is how I would look
Yeah, but I think the difference is between Brian Flores, and I don't want to go too into it, and Jon Gruden just seemed like a bad person from the emails and the things that were said about him, whereas Brian Flores had a legitimate case where his owner was telling him to tank games, and he didn't want to, and then he got fired, and they were trying to get Tom Brady to come take over and do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. So I think Brian Flores had a legitimate case. That's why he's still in the NFL, whereas Jon Gruden just seemed like a bad person and they got rid of him. But I digress.
There is a difference there. Gruden did wrong. Though, Flores got done wrong. So there is a difference with the lawsuit. So I do agree with that.
Another thing, too, though, I see, here's the thing, right? I like Mike McCarthy, and I would love for Mike McCarthy to be the coach. I wanted him before Robert Saleh. That's who I actually wanted. I think the timelines didn't match up, but that's who I wanted. I also would want Mike Vrabel, Todd Monken. You know, I'm not opposed to. You guys know I'm a big Deion Sanders guy because I'm telling you right now, Deion Sanders is going to go into the NFL. Maybe not next year, but eventually he's going to go into the NFL. He's going to be a good coach, and we're going to be kicking ourselves. But I'm also not opposed to Bill Belichick, and I don't understand why you guys get so like, oh, Belichick has never won a Super Bowl or had a winning record without Tom Brady. I could say the same thing for Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells never won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick being his defensive coordinator. So, and the thing with Tom Brady is he left and he went to Tampa Bay, and his next head coach was Bruce Arians, who was probably one of the best coaches in the league. Let's not forget what Bruce Arians was able to do with Arizona and Carson Palmer. They were always 1 game, 2 games away from making it to a Super Bowl. They'll lose in the divisional or the championship game. But Bruce Arians is a great coach. He also had Todd Bowles as his defensive coordinator, who was a good defensive coordinator, not a good head coach, but a good defensive coordinator. So he went into a better situation. He had weapons all around him. But if you remember, Bill Belichick still took his sorry team to the playoffs with, was it Mac Jones was the quarterback in his rookie year? So we got to stop acting like Bill Belichick can't coach. And
he can coach. He can coach. It's just Rex Ryan, for example, has a higher winning percentage than Belichick does when Belichick's quarterback is not Brady. That's my point. It's like, if we're going to do the Belichick thing, I'd rather just hire Rex.
But who developed Brady? And if we go back to Brady's first 3 years, those first 3 Super Bowls, they were built off they won those Super Bowls off the defense. They didn't win them off of Brady.
But JJ, Belichick's going to want full autonomy, full control. And his resume as a GM is brutal. Look at their drafts. He
drafted the greatest quarterback of all time.
I mean, yes, also 25 years ago for one, and two, if they knew that was going to be Tom Brady, he would not have been the 199th overall pick in the draft. They lucked into that one.
Lucked into it, or maybe they scouted him and saw that, hey, this guy is out there. Let's go take him, because they could have took a different quarterback.
Bro, it was
he was never going to play, JJ. Bledsoe had just signed the first $100 million contract in the NFL, and the plan was to have Bledsoe be the quarterback for years to come. The plan was never draft Brady and play him after Mo Lewis broke his chest in half. There was never a plan to play Brady.
It's the NFL.
Just luck.
It's the NFL. It's not just luck, because it's the NFL. They didn't have to draft Tom Brady. They could have drafted Joe Schmo, and Joe Schmo could have went in after Bledsoe got hurt and looked like Joe Schmo, and then they would have just moved on from him. But they drafted Tom Brady, right, because they saw some potential in him. And then when he got on the field, he ended up being better, or clicking better with the team. You give Bill Belichick credit. You can't just say that's just luck, because it's the same thing with Brock Purdy. You guys can say, well, Brock Purdy, that's just luck. No one's going to say that's luck with Brock Purdy. So why you say it's just luck with Bill Belichick? Because it's the same situation. And furthermore, if we go back and look at it, Bill Belichick drafted Rob Gronkowski. He doesn't get any credit for that. He drafted rest in peace or whatever, Aaron Hernandez, who was a really good player. He brought in Wes Welker. He brought in Danny Amendola. He's bringing these guys in. Yeah, Tom Brady elevated them, but Bill Belichick is the one who's bringing these guys in. He doesn't get credit for that. He doesn't get credit for bringing in Randy Moss. He doesn't. Yes, Randy Moss was the greatest wide receiver of all time, but he's the one who's doing these deals.
What is your point? He was there for 25 years.
Because you guys are acting like
about all these players that were brought in before the year 2010. Like, you're going back to their 2007 undefeated season. Like, okay, but football evolved, and he did not show a very good ability to draft offensive talent for about a decade.
Okay.
So you're giving him credit for in the 2000s. That's a long time ago. John Gruden hasn't had a double-digit win season as a head coach since 2005. So either one of these guys, I don't think Belichick, when he did a documentary with Bill Parcells, would not even step foot into the Jet locker room when they were walking through MetLife Stadium. They looked at each other like, do we need to go in there? No, I don't want to. Do you? Like, he's not coming here. And if you're the Johnsons, you got burned already by Belichick. You don't even offer or interview the guy.
Let's go back, though, because we got to remember this is an off-season show, right? So we need talking points. We need stuff to talk about. So I don't think Bill Belichick would ever want to come here. He's made it clear. He's like, yep, that's Woody for you. I don't know. Woody just, that's Woody for you. So I don't think he's going to come here. I'm just saying it's absurd to me that we're writing off Bill Belichick because of Tom Brady when look at all the other stuff that he's done. Look at all the pieces that he's put around Tom Brady. We're just going to pretend like Bill Belichick isn't the GOAT. Bill Belichick is still the GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. Bill Belichick is still the GOAT. Andy Reid is a close second, but Bill Belichick.
Fine. Okay, you love Belichick. Who cares? He's not coming to the Jets. And two, you're talking about his resume. It's not relevant in 2024, soon to be 2025, what his resume is from the moves he made in the mid-2000s or in the 2010s. Like, the bottom line is, if you hire Bill Belichick, he wants full control. His resume in recent years as a general manager, post-Brady leaving, who covered up a lot of their deficiencies, is abysmal. So, no, do I not want Bill Belichick? Nor would he take this job anyway, so there's no point even discussing and spending time on it.
I could dunk a basketball in 1996. I don't see any NBA teams trying to sign me today.
I mean, Bill Belichick's career record without Tom Brady as his quarterback is 84-103. That is a 44.9 winning percentage. Rex Ryan has a higher winning percentage in his career. So we're going to do the Belichick thing. Give me Rex, who's actually won in this market, won with this franchise, and actually wants the job. Belichick wouldn't even take this job.
The franchise.
Right.
Belichick would laugh if anyone from the Jets called him. He would laugh and hang up. He might entertain it to let his buddies get video and audio of it, but that's it. Like, the Jets are a laughing stock to Belichick. That's the least probable coach. Jake, you and I have a better chance of coaching the team than Bill Belichick does.
Ridiculous. And also he drafted Tom Brady. He took Tom Brady in the 6th round, the 199th overall pick. Like, what are we doing? You don't get it's all luck, man. If he knew that he was going to be Tom Brady, he would have been the 1st overall pick in the draft. Like, what are we talking about?
Only Mo Lewis let Drew Bledsoe step out of bounds. Thanks, Mo.
Unreal. All right, a few minutes left here. Let's say hello to the King and Dreams, who's next. What's up, King?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, my man Jake? Man, salute to you, man. I don't know how you do it, man, when we like really getting buried out here, man. Hey, Nick, the salt and peppermint, I'm loving the vibe, man. I'm loving it, man. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, so let me get right into it. JJ did make some valid points. I mostly do disagree with JJ, but I will say this. We do need a new regime, right? We need a new regime, and how do we go about it? Because right now we're all like spinning, right? This is basically white table talk, right? We're basically trying to put like what we should see as a new regime. And I think, Nick, one of the important things that you had mentioned was having an offensive minded coach. And I think, Jake, that you had mentioned that as well. So like, how do we move forward? And I know that the season isn't over yet, but let's keep it real. This shit is about to be over. Pardon my language. It's Saturday. But it is about to be over. There's no way we can win 7 games in a row. So how do we come about with getting a good coach? So what I would say is, I think if we were to get either Rex Ryan, and I'm going to throw a name out there, Deion Sanders, or I would take Gruden, but we do need to head in the right direction. We need to bring everything up from the top and revamp everything. Like I would send the owner back to Europe, go do your thing, because NFL is trying to get global. Like send your ass over there, and let's get like people in here who really want to see the Jets win because we do have talent, but are we utilizing the talent the right way?
I don't think so.
I just want to hear you guys' feedback. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, you're 100% right, Candy. The problem is, like, you know, you're just hoping the ownership group could get it right. That's what it comes down to. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at the Lions, they're like a model example on how to build your team. It's like, well, they eventually got it right. They were a joke, and now they hired the right GM and Brad Holmes, who hired Dan Campbell, and now look at what they've become.
For years. Yeah, they were bums for years.
They were us.
The Niners post Harbaugh were a disaster. Then they hired Shanahan and John Lynch, and now they're one of the model franchises in the league. They're good every year. They're contending every year.
But the Niners weren't really bums that, you know, as long as Detroit was. You know, like the Niners had like some pretty decent years. Now I go back to
Harbaugh,
Detroit.
they were awful. Though is my point. My point is, it's like it's all about.
I got you now. Yeah.
For those like, the Jets are never going to figure it out. It's like a lot of people said that about the Knicks too with Dolan, and like now the Knicks are a championship contender because they have the right people running the franchise. Like you just got to hope they get it right with who they hire.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a Lakers fan, but you know, I'm a New Yorker, so you know, I got respect for the Knicks. So the Knicks are cooking though. The Knicks are cooking. But we, you know, like going back to my point, because I don't want to like ramble, and I know you have other callers, but my whole thing is this: like, we do need to figure out what we need to do, and we do need to have a cohesive unit. And I do think if we don't get Rex, I do want to move into an offensive coach.
Vrabel's my number one guy, King of Dreams. How would you feel about him?
I'm sorry, who?
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. Vrabel, you know, Vrabel, even though, you know, like, I guess I would kind of call him in the middle, if you will, like as far as offensive and defensive, you know what I mean? Because of like one of my boys, he's a Titans fan and I watched the Titans. So like, I see it, like how they played in the past. I just say like, we can't do the same thing over and over again because that's the definition of insanity. We can't do the BS. We all have to be on the same page. You know what I mean? That's it, man. We all have to be on the same page. And Nick, and I'll say this really quick before I jump off. Like, I understand what you were saying. Like we have seen Rex, but I do think that Rex with Aaron Rodgers, I think that Rex would be able to handle things in a different way because I think when you get another chance, you learn from your mistakes. Now, I'm not saying no. Oh, sorry. Let me just finish. My fault, Nick. But what I was going to say was that I'm not saying that Rex is end all be all, right? Mm-hmm. I do like Vrabel because I like what you're saying, Jake. I just think that we can't go on like this. We can't go on like this. Like watching this, like we all thought this season was gonna be crazy, and like we're all in like a depression right now. I see it in all of y'all. I see it in both of y'all faces, man. You see it in my face, man. Shoot, man. Yo, it's 11:30 in the morning, man. Listen, I'm about to pop this Hennessy right now, man. That's how depressed I am. But what I'm saying on a serious note is that hey, let's get it, man. Let's get it. Hey, cheers, I got you, man. Oh, trust me, I got you. As soon as I get off here, I'm about to go to the store. But what I'm saying is we do need to be a cohesive unit. That's the most important thing. You know what I mean? And I will hear you guys' feedback, but thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, King and Dreams, appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, they said it wouldn't be done. They said it would never happen. Ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Neil with a 50 burger, 50 channel memberships.
This is our cult. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our cult. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Jets. Let's take down the one true Rodgers. This is our team. Go Colts!
If I could real quick before you start reading. This is our Neil. This is our Jets. He pays debts. Shout out to Neil.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, Neil, this is for you.
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
Definitely.
Here we go. Reigning 50 memberships. Neil trying to make sure this show stays alive, and he pays his debts. Here we go. I got 50 names to read. If you didn't get a membership by now, you just may never get one. I guess the algorithm for YouTube hates you. How about Neil coming through for the people here? Here we go. Stay with me, people. The umbrella's out. It's reigning memberships. NYJ92. Connor Carey. Sean. Ray Mirabal. Carlos Castro. Sebastian Diaz. Luis Quinterio. Just a Guy. Golden Arms. Mac Daddy. Billy Milnatovic. Three Siblings J. JM2. Sanchez Glizzy Gobbler. NY Jets Florida. Lee Van. Jaden D'Angelo. Sean Wilson. Delusional Jet Fan. Donna. Freddie McMite. Kikuchi. Ryan Moss. Nate Nate. Daniel Salas Jr. Jeanette Randall. Dylan Barr 4. Jonathan Cassiano Sr. 1189 Paris. Mr. Flowers. Travis. Ricky Ricardo. Mickey Rosa. Michael Paragrosa. Jose Duran. Cheeseman. Cactus Johnny. Midnight Mike Show. Douglas Welsh. Extinguish the Guilt. Eric Barty. King Lowski. Me and My Dog. David Dean. Christian A. Sonny Crockett. Greg. Hold on. I think I missed some there. There's no way that was 50. The chat is exploding here. Golden RMS. Is that 50? No, it's still loading. It's still loading. It's too many names. This is insane. Oh, my goodness.
He killed the algorithm.
He killed. It's Jet Light 4. D Van G. Ripple. Greg. I think there's more, but it's not loading. This is crazy. Neil, way to go, man. I guess I got to give some credit to Alan. He made a bet with Neil, and it led to 50 people getting memberships and this channel staying afloat. How about that, Nick Sean?
I'm honored to be a part of it.
Unreal. Let's go, Neil. Appreciate you. Good job by Alan.
Neil, you want to make any bets on my channel for this week's game?
I think they have a 20 membership bet picking games tomorrow. They picked 3 games on the show earlier this week. Unreal.
Nice.
That was great.
Cool.
50 plus from Neil. I think that was 50 names I read. I don't know. The chat, you know what? Nick, you know this on your channel when you get a bunch of memberships and it's like, zzz, and it's hard to follow.
And then comments come in and it breaks it up. So it's tough to.
JJ says, tape Steve Spags before Rex or Gruden. They done. Spags, I think, should get an interview. I don't know if they'll hire him.
Why would he want to leave there, though, too, right? Like, he's in a great situation. He's going to be Hall of Fame defensive coordinator, first coordinator to ever win Super Bowls as a coordinator with multiple teams. Like, he's got a great situation, run your side of the ball, let Andy run the offense. Why break that up? That's my
head coach. He does want to be a head coach. He has said that, but he hasn't had interviews at all during any of these cycles. And you'd think he'd be a guy that would at least get some looks. He's been a head coach before. I don't know.
If you want to be a head coach, though, your agent gets that out there. There'll be interviews coming in. If he really wants to leave and wants to be a head coach, maybe he's just waiting for the right job, to put his name out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, he wanted to call in. He just gifted 50 memberships. Neil is on the line. Hello, Neil.
What's up, gentlemen? Good morning.
Morning.
Nick, how are you, buddy?
I'm good,
Nick,
man.
I love you on the show, man. I love you on the show. I can't get on your show for some reason. I got to figure out how to get it. I am like so complete. You got to realize something. I tried doing the membership thing from my phone. I had to go up to my computer. This is like ridiculous. I'm not really computer literate, It's just hard for me to do these things.
You figured it out. You did a great job. I appreciate it.
If you figured out 50 memberships, we could figure out how to get you over to my page.
Yeah.
I will come out to Long Island and show you firsthand.
Well, listen, I refuse to buy season tickets for next year and spend my 10 grand there. I might as well spend it on the show. I figure at least we'll have misery together without watching this shit in person. I mean, getting really hard. It's really, really getting hard, guys. I got to tell you, this is really getting hard. But again, 1 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be right on my big screen. I'm going to be out east. I'll be watching every play. I'll be on the post game, win, lose, or draw. I'll be listening to Alan's shit. And I know he's going to try to get me for some picks. I'll probably lose that one.
King Lowski shouting you out. He goes, "You
King
thought Neil
Lowski,
wasn't
I got
coming
him
through?"
a membership. That was great.
Yeah,
That
he
was
got one.
That was worth it. You know,
I think there were people who got memberships that weren't coming up because that was a lot of names I read. I don't know if that
What
was
if Alan got one? I would be upset then if Alan got one. Let's make sure he doesn't get one. I mean,
I've gifted him one before. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
terrible feeling because you have no control over it. It's completely random.
No, listen, Alan has to give his takes. I think they're very good takes. I just think the coaching thing is just getting totally out of hand. You know, look, I'm with Fireman Ed. Fireman Ed likes Chucky. You know, I'm a Chucky guy. You know, from the standpoint of changing the culture, Nick. That's the only thing I really think about with regard to Chucky. You know, Vrabel scares me because he's a defensive coach, but you know, he did, like Jake said, pick 2 coaches on the offensive side that ended up being head coaches. So I'm good with that. You know, I'm good with Vrabel. I'm good with Chucky. But Jesus.
Warning! Warning! Allen alert! Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning! Allen alert! Hide the children.
Good morning, boys. Nicholas, Jacob, hope your date went well yesterday. Neil, you don't have to give your 50 today. Tomorrow will be 70, so don't worry. Okay?
Okay. Well, Jesus. You know.
Don't tell your wife, Neil. Michelle's not going to like this.
Doesn't matter. My wife, they're out there with my grandkids. The only reason I was able to go up to my computer is that they went out shopping and I had an empty. I went upstairs. I'm in the basement here, right? I hide out here. Then I said,
that might be the least amount of money spent today, right?
Right. So I said, wait a minute. Let me see if I go upstairs. And there was nobody upstairs. I go, where the hell is everybody? They all went they went shopping and then food shopping. So they left me alone, and then I was able to go on my computer. If I went up there, my grandkids would be attacking me. We're doing Christmas tree setups today with the grandkids. 3 Christmas trees. I got 3 Christmas trees going up with ornaments today. A 12-footer and 2 8-footers are going to have full ornaments on them. And let me tell you something. I got a ton of jet ornaments, okay? When I do one of the trees, I'm going to send the thing, Jake. You'll see one of the trees with all the jet ornaments I have. It's hysterical. I have some crazy jet ornaments going back, 30 years. That is really, once in a while I'll buy an ornament,
It's like getting coal on Christmas, though, if you gift someone a jet ornament this time of year.
Right. No, I would never gift one. No.
Jake, I have a question for you. Do you think Neil has more jet ornaments or gifted more memberships today? Neil, we need to count on the ornaments. We gotta see which is more.
Neil, you actually gifted it? I didn't even see it. You did?
Wait, you missed it, Alan?
I just got home. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you called in because you literally gifted the 50
No,
memberships.
I actually didn't. Congratulations, Neil. It's been a couple of days. I'm very proud of you.
I couldn't get to a computer. I would have done it earlier. I'm not like ducking the thing, for Christ's sakes.
Tomorrow at 7:00, you'll give 20 more.
I'm going to win the bet against you.
You're not. Don't worry. You're not winning the bet.
No, what is this bet?
What are the 3 games again? Jake, you better mark them down.
The games are Detroit minus 14.
Okay, yeah, I have 14 points.
Baltimore minus 3.
What?
And
I have
Buffalo
Pittsburgh. I have Pittsburgh.
These are me. Detroit minus 14 is me. Baltimore minus 3 is me. And Buffalo minus 2.5 is me. You have the other side.
What do you think of that, Nate?
I like the picks, Neil. You're getting Tomlin as an underdog, and you got Patrick Mahomes as an underdog. I mean, you got to feel good about that.
You do.
Yeah, look, Patrick Mahomes, look, Josh Allen owns them, has a good record in the regular season, but, obviously hasn't had it in the playoffs. But you got to realize one thing. This is a playoff atmosphere tomorrow. You know, the game's in KC or Pittsburgh?
No, the game's in Buffalo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Buffalo. Oh, yeah.
Pittsburgh's home, though, against Baltimore.
Yeah, Pittsburgh at home, dude. That's going to be it. I got to tell you, man, I just have this funny feeling that Russell Wilson's going to go deep with Pittsburgh. They got the perfect situation with him.
Probably to Mike Williams again.
You know, again, now you got Mike. Look, he has the right. See, they are so smart. They do the right thing. They have 2 jump ball receivers now to catch Russell Wilson lollipop bombs. You know what I mean? And you know, what I don't understand is this. We had Rodgers, we had Mike Williams, right? Rodgers' best throws are those lollipop Hail Mary passes. Why couldn't he throw a couple lollipops downfield and let Mike Williams jump ball it? You know, we're so stupid. We don't do anything right, this team. We just can't do anything right. Nick, am I right or wrong?
Neil, one final thing. Are we done with the Bill Belichick infatuation with the Jets, please? No more. We're not hearing this anymore, okay?
I'm not infatuated with Belichick. No,
hold on. Last week you wanted Belichick to be a Jet coach.
No. He's my third pick. My first pick is Chucky. Second, I'm going to go Vrabel, and third, I'll go Belichick. That's my 3. And I even like, you know, look, I like the Pete Carroll thing also. I don't think he's going to coach though. You know what? I don't think he'll be. What do you think of Pete Carroll? Alan, what do you think of Pete Carroll?
Is that a possibility of some sort? As an advisor, not as a head coach. As an advisor.
Right. No, I'll take him as an advisor. And then what? He's going to bring on the coach. He's going to hire the coaches and everything?
Maybe. But again, my number 1 is Ben Johnson. It's never happening, but that's my number 1. And that will never change. So
I really, you know, I felt, and I said this the other day, I felt, and I gave the way this game was going to head with Flacco starting, and then they're going to Richardson at halftime and him running the ball over us and us losing. This Richardson is going to, my God.
It's better that they have time to prepare for it at the beginning of the game.
RPO towards Sauce Gardner, opposite of Clemens or wherever Clemens is, RPO in that direction. Who the hell is stopping a 244-pound freight train that's faster and heavier than Josh Allen on our team? Who? Michael Carter III? Who? Who?
And Neil and Nick, I brought this up yesterday. How does Quinnen get 63% of the snaps yesterday?
Yeah, that was horrible. That's horrible.
And Ali McNeil for the Lions gets 87% of the snaps last Sunday night. They play the same position. That's why you don't take this coaching staff seriously, and that's you have to blow it up. The idea that you gave a guy $24 million a year and he's getting 63% of the snaps is ridiculous.
Yep. So. Speaking of blowing it up.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
All right, Nick Shine.
That was a moment in time.
What a show. Shout out to Neil. Love the bucket hat, Neil. We got the games locked in. Once again, Bills, Ravens, Lions. Allen on those teams with the point spreads. Neil on the opposite. 20 memberships on the line tomorrow.
So whoever wins more of the bets is the winner.
Yeah. So if let's say Allen goes 2-1 over Neil, right?
All right. So they got 3. Okay.
Neil would owe 20 memberships and vice versa.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
There's 2 people still on the line here that I want to get to. All right. The first one, very important. We haven't heard from him in a while. He did cause some controversy on the Bobby Midnight program. Ladies and gentlemen, Goober is up next. Hello, Goober.
Hi. Hi, Nick. Oh, you waked up? You waked up, Nick?
Hi, Goober.
Hi. Are you waked up? Still?
No.
I'm not.
Wait, waked up?
No. Now that I see you, it's starting to. Yes, it's starting to.
You doing good?
Let's get bricked up.
Here. Ready? I'm bricked up now. There it is, just for you.
Is that your laundry machine?
Yes.
I had a salad. I feel like shit today.
Goober, if I could ask you a question, is this the effects of eating too much vegetables? How you look right now?
I actually looked worse, but I feel better. I'm going to eat salad. Ooh. Oh, wait, I got something for you. Ready? Ready? I'm going to sing. This is our team. This is our team. They're real bad. We are wicked up. We are wicked up. We can't tackle. We are the Jets. We are the Jets. We not wicked up. This is our Jets. We can't tackle. Oh, we shit the bed. It's good.
It's good. It's good. I like.
Okay. Well, try to be worked up, and the Jets are going to win the game. And then we go there, we celebrate, and then we only have to win 4 more times, and then we're good. Go Jets!
Goober, if I would be honored if you ever called into one of my shows. It would be a pleasure to have you on air.
Oh, 911?
Hi, Goober. Where's Goober? I want to see.
He left. He's gone.
I want to tell Goober I love him.
I thought you didn't like Goober.
Yeah, you
I love him now.
Goober off your channel.
Skater. Goober, I love you. Come back.
Goober's not Gator. Gator is Gator.
No, that's Gator. Yes. He has the same background as me. See? He had this. That's Gator. Stop. Gator, I love you. I told you I love you. Come back.
Could Goober be in the top 10 Asmaniac rankings for November after that call, Nick?
Probably.
I mean, that was the funniest call we've had. I mean, Bobby's low energy. Usually Bobby's got the best call of the day.
Okay, well, have a good night. Have a good day.
Hey, Bob, give me some. Who's going to win the Notre Dame game, and who are they playing?
Bob.
I don't get it.
Where's that energy from Bob? We need some of this energy.
Oh, Godzilla.
Bobby, don't.
I don't know.
What was that?
Don't, Bobby.
Bobby took us on a quick trip to Japan.
Bobby, we gotta celebrate our differences. For those that don't know, that was an actual commercial that played on MTV 2 years ago. If you put on Google MTV commercial racist, it pops up and it just goes around the world doing all horrible things that actually aired. It's amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, JR Jet, who I met at the Asmaniac meetup on the New Jersey Transit, that's me and him taking a selfie after the Texans win, just gifted a 5-spot of channel membership. Shout out to you, JR Jet. This is for you. Yeah. All right, here we go. 5 names, and we'll do at least one more call here because, I mean, it's unreal what's happening with the show today. Kevin Tattoos, Sith Happens, Just for Fun, Jamel Hayward, Edward Ariza, all receiving channel memberships. Nothing better, though, than the Neil 50 spot. And by the way, how about Alan not realizing Neil actually paid up on the bet, and he just happened to be calling it? Unreal.
And even when Alan complimented Neil, it was so condescending. Oh, you did pay it? Oh, I'm so proud of you. Like, it's just so condescending how he said it. It's great.
Ladies and gentlemen,
dynamic.
I do as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Goober is back on the line. Hey, Goober.
Hey, was that Bobby?
That was Bobby Midnight, yeah.
What, Miss Bobby? Oh, it's a Bobby. It's a Bobby Shoby. And he's bringing up to me very lovely girls. It's a Bobby. And he's Fred Aston. And he has a big schlong on the show. So he one day that he loses freaking show now. And now he had to start over from the beginning. And now he have another channel. It's the legend of Bobby Midnight. Bobby Midnight. I got a big schlong on my foot. I lose my two and I don't know. I just my channel gone. Ooh, he waked up too.
he was definitely, that picture was definitely bricked up.
Where do you go? I'm sitting in Bobby's room, you see.
Oh, Bobby's in the chat. Bobby, get in here and talk to Goober.
I don't
Goober,
know where
will
he
you
is.
talk to Bobby? Will you stay on, Goober?
I'll take on for a little bit, but okay. Do I wait? Do I wait here? Or do I show you put back? So, okay. Oh, hi, Bobby.
Hi, Goober. I love you.
Hi, Bobby.
I love you.
Is it?
I love you, Goober.
You love me? Why? Boy, you love me? Oh, I
Yeah,
love you.
you're a
Oh,
nice guy.
I love your bathrobe. Your bathrobe, it
Yeah.
needs to be washed. It needs to be washed.
Yeah,
You wear it?
I
No.
washed it 2 days
No.
ago.
I smell your bathrobe through
Oh.
the stream yard.
Oh, okay. That's good, Goober. I'm proud of you.
Because it's smelly.
Okay,
But
whatever.
when you go pee-pee and poopy inside your bathrobe,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
good.
I do that. Definitely.
Not good.
No, not good at all.
You gonna do a show? What time?
Right after this show. Why, you coming on my show?
Who's your guest?
Of course, Addison.
What time?
Right after this show.
When's the next one after that?
After the Notre Dame game, okay?
Then what about tomorrow? You do another show?
I don't know, maybe.
And then after that, who's gonna be your guest?
I don't know, not you.
Oh.
Nick, it's been a wild one, man. Been a wild one. You have time for one more?
Yeah. Whatever, man. That's right.
It's time for V-Man to talk about Puerto Rico and his Puerto Rican roots.
Hey Jake, hey Nick, how you guys doing?
What's up,
Hey,
buddy? How are
man.
you?
That was something. But I feel like my human rights were just violated by that imagery. But let's actually I want to talk about football and the Jets coach. Gruden, I'm okay with. Like I said, the thing with Gruden is I agree that keep him away from the GM and the roster stuff. He's a good I think he's a good X's and O's coach guy, good locker room guy, can handle making sure these guys are playing to the right standard. But like when you let him work with the roster, they're gonna be I don't trust him there. The one guy I really don't want, and this may shock you, the one guy I don't want is Brian Flores.
Why are you anti-Flores? Just because he's a defensive coach?
No, it's because he could never win the big. I always remember this. My memory of Brian Flores, I always remember 2020, the Dolphins. They're 10-5, going into. I think they were going to Buffalo. They were going into Miami. I think it was like they were playing the Bills end of the year. They needed one game to make the playoffs. The Bills had already clinched the division. They'd already got the highest seeding they could get. They were playing for nothing. And they completely wet the bed against the Bills' third stringers at backup. Like they were outplayed to just such an extent where it wasn't even a contest. I think it was like, and that just always remembers me. Like it was always the thing with Brian Flores' teams is they could never win those critical games, especially when it came to playing the Buffalo Bills. They could never beat the Bills.
Well, they never had the quarterback that the Bills had, though, right? I mean, you look at Flores.
Okay, that's a fair point. But like I said, when you're playing the third stringers and backups of the Buffalo Bills with the final game of the year where they're clearly not trying to win and you get like completely blown out of the doors, I mean, that's a concerning thing for me.
I don't know about that. I mean, look, you look at his first year in Miami, everyone thought they were going to be the worst team in the league, tanking. They won 5 games, which was over the expectations. Year 2, 10-6. Year 3, 9-8. He got fired because of his relationship with Tua and the issues that came up with the owner. So,
I know he got fired, but like I said, and then the two things are: is that any constant shifting around of the offensive staff?
Yeah, that is definitely a legit criticism. Talking with a Dolphin fan friend of mine,
like I said, but the one thing I always I can never get that thing out of my head. Like, how did you get so comically outplayed by a bunch of backups and third stringers at the end of the year. Like when the Bills are not playing for anything. They're not trying to win this game. You have every opportunity to win this game, and you got your doors blown off in 2020. That's a concern for me because it's the one thing. Because yes, like we want to be will we be a better team? But the question for me is, can his teams win those critical must-win games? And so far in his tenure in Miami, and maybe some of that is on the quarterback and stuff, but
he overachieved, V-man. He overachieved. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but he had 2 winning seasons and then got let go when people were shocked he got let go. You could do a lot worse than Brian Flores. He's also a Brooklyn guy too. I think he can handle the market. I love the fact he hates Miami, so he'd be extra motivated, come back to the AFC East and stick it to him. He's not my number one, but if you're talking about guys who are qualified with previous experience, he's near the top of the list among available options.
I mean, but I do think that is a critical red flag, though.
But
I think that is a
I could
critical red
counter
flag.
that, V-man. If you're one of the coaches who can win those must-win, do-or-die games, you're already a head coach.
Right.
Yeah, those guys aren't out there. The guys who can win the must-win, do-or-die games are already employed as head coaches. That's why there's a cycle.
There's a fair point, but like I said, that one just always like that thing, and just the offensive staff issues, I think, are just red flags that have to be looked at before any consideration could be made.
V-man, enjoy your Saturday, all right?
All right, peace.
That's the end of that V-man call. Now he can go back to sleeping.
Rick Ken had a great comment during that. You know it's a wild show when V-man gets it back on track.
I knew when we had Nick Shine on the show.
I get the blame for this? All right.
Things might go off the rails.
I'll see you next Saturday. We'll run it back.
I never could have expected this. Ladies and gentlemen, I gifted one last membership because it's been such a fun show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. The viewership might be down, but the fun never stops because, I mean, we know how to deal with losing as Jet fans. We just figure out a way to have Goober call in and talk about salads killing us like yesterday on the show with Gary. Let's see. This membership went to, by the way, Nick, you gifted a membership I saw, and it went to Nick Russo. So from one Nick to another. My membership went to Kevin Maldonado. So Kevin and Nick, you guys got memberships here at the buzzer.
Awesome. I would like to bring something to the table for you, if that's okay.
Go ahead, Nick.
On my show, we do what did we learn throughout the show, and Boomtown, who keeps the notes and then does the best of offers on my show, he does a recap of the show. And he messaged me earlier. So Boomtown, if you don't mind, drop your what did we learn today.
Yes.
And we'll have a what did we learn here.
Thank you for the reminder, Nick. You told me about this and I forgot. So good job by you there. Boomtown.
You got a lot going on, man.
Crazy things are happening, man. Hey, by the way, a reminder for those that haven't joined the Patreon to please do so. I want to give a shout out to a listener who joined the Patreon during the show today. Mickey signed up during the show. He's our most recent Patreon subscriber. We're approaching 500. Big thank you to Phil, Joseph, Jeffrey, Dan, Debbie, and Kevin for being our most recent Patreon subscribers. We have some What Do You Learns coming in from Boomtown. He says, I learned Tom Ace sends unsolicited pics to Nick Shine. It's either Fat Rex or no Rex. Nick gifted memberships to the great Burnt Ballsack. Lane will type, he will call, but he won't email.
Nice.
Boomtown. Bonus. The only way the Jets should touch Nagy is with a 20-plus foot pole or the one that ended Bobby's show. Spicy Bobby is superior to Sleepy Bobby. Nick Shine gives Joe Bonsey a boner.
You're welcome.
Double bonus. The salt and pepper beer was a huge hit with the Asmaniacs. It's never too early in the morning to hit the Hennessy when you're a Jets fan. 50 gifted memberships. Neil, a man of his word. Love this. We got more. Triple bonus. Goober is back. Goober's affliction is likely directly related to eating vegetables. Bobby has a smelly bathrobe. Only V-Man could call it and talk straight Jets after a Goober call. That is such a great point about V-Man. The guy who always gets the show off the rails got us back on track after a Goober call. Incredible.
Nice. Well done. Well done, Boomtown, as always. I always say in my show, you watch. You've listened to me talk for 2 or 3 hours, and the only reason you did it was to get the Boomtown recap. So it's great because, when you talk, you forget a lot of the things that happened or occurred during the show. And Boom is fantastic with giving you the recall at the end. It's great.
I do love that. Oh, super
Shout
chat
out
here
to
from
Boom.
JR at the buzzer. Can't top Neil, but I was inspired to be generous. Shout out to Nick Shine. We met as well. Cool brother. Goober disturbed me, but that was funny. Shake my head. Jet up. Thank you, JR. Jet. Goober disturbed me too. I think everyone.
Yeah.
If you weren't disturbed a little bit, Nick. I mean.
Oh man, I was dying. I had to mute myself. I wasn't farting. As we learned earlier from Charles, I was laughing hysterically. I had to mute myself, man. That was great.
Incredible. Nick, I think people know where to find you, but if they don't, please tell people about the Proud NYJ YouTube channel.
Proud NYJ fan. You find me on YouTube, Twitter under the same name. I do shows Sunday night and Wednesday night at 9 and Thursday night at 10 o'clock. So, and then sometimes some pop-ups. But we have a good time. We'll talk Jets. We'll open up the call-ins, and it's always entertaining. The chat drives the show. It's a very chat-driven show like yours, and the engagement and the interaction. You never know where it's going to go. And it's, as you know, doing these shows, that's the most exciting part.
There's nothing like the chat. There's nothing like the YouTube community. It's unlike anything else. Incredible.
It's like they all agree without saying it. Like, we're taking over, and they just take over. And you got to ride the tidal wave. It's fantastic.
Riding the wave. He is Nick Shine. My name is Jake Asman. Hey, reminder, I'm on ESPN New York tomorrow, 4 to 6:30. So you'll hear my immediate thoughts on Jets Colts on the radio. Download the ESPN New York app if you're not in the New York area to listen on 8:80 a.m. And we will have a post-game show. It just will start at 6:30, right when I get off the radio. So not immediately after the game. I'm doing radio, but then when I'm done with radio, we'll go live on YouTube and we'll cover Jets Colts. Nick will be there. So hopefully, Nick Shine, you bring us a win, all right?
I hope so. We got you covered tomorrow night. Jake at 6:30, me at 9, or whenever Jake finishes, then I'll go. We got you covered on Sunday night.
Jets football, baby. It still has 7 games left. Nothing like it. He's Nick. I'm Jake. Let's go Jets, baby. One more time. Let's hit a little This Is Our Colts.
This is our cult. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our cult. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Jets. Let's take down the one true Rodgers. This is our team. Go Colts!
Excuse me.